This is Rob Z Radio.
Creating superheroes is what we're all about here on this podcast. It's about finding those special things that you have inside of you, taking those things and creating something that impacts the world, that helps other people change their lives. It just impacts other people through your power, through your thing. That is your thing, and you were uniquely built to do that thing, whatever it might be. I don't know what that is for you, but the point of this podcast is for you to figure that out. Okay, so if you want to know how to figure that out, episode 401 is a great example, a formula that I use, that I didn't make up, but it's a formula that I used that helped me to I already had a superpower, right, and helped me to figure out, oh, it's been right in front of my face this entire time, and I'm not using it. That could be the same situation for you, the same exact situation. You might be staring it right in the eyes, and you don't even know it. So go to episode 401, episode 401. That'll help you to figure that out. And listen, if you find value in this podcast, if you find value in what I'm talking about on here, please do me a favor. Ask as a challenge, okay? The challenge to you is to tell a friend to listen, take one piece of action, okay, that's in this podcast. So if you listen to this, take some action on something that I talk about that seems interesting to you, that you think might work. Tell a friend about it. Tell a friend who I talk about something that sounds like it's worthwhile, that somebody you know might be interested in. Tell them about that thing. And it's all about taking accountability for your life and taking action towards what inspires you. What is that thing that, I said something on here that was to you like, wow, that's maybe something you had heard before, but I sent it over the edge, or maybe something you'd never heard before, or something you've heard before said in a unique kind of way that triggered you to take action. I'm just curious about case studies for what we're talking about here. I'm curious about finding people who have done amazing things, and maybe I was the catalyst for that. Maybe I was the catalyst for that. That would be awesome. I would love to hear from you, and I'd love to talk to you and get to know who you are. So please, if something like that happens and you take some action, or you know somebody who does, send me a message, DM me on any platform on social media. All the links are in the show notes of this show, of this episode. Today we're going to talk about dominance, and I'm not much of a dominating kind of person. That's not really my personality type. So for me to talk about that, even me thinking about it is like kind of strange. Dominance, like really, Rob, that's not something that is a part of your vocabulary. I never had a ton of self-confidence, never had a ton of self-esteem growing up, and dominance was something that I always thought of as like, oh, if somebody dominates, that person's annoying. They're overbearing. They're going to screw me over somehow. And that domination idea, probably some of those thoughts that I was having are valid. But what I'm going to talk about today is dominating everybody in your field. And the reason you want to dominate everybody in your field is not because you're the crusher and the ruler of worlds and you're going to destroy lives and crush souls. It's because if you aim to dominate and you at least have that as a vision, you're going to excel so much faster, so much quicker. Okay, so think about that for a second. If you set out just to make some, whatever it is, say you have a business, say you're starting a podcast, you have a mission, you're speaking to people, you're helping kids, whatever it is. If your mission is, oh, I want to make a difference in a couple lives, well, great, and you'll probably make a difference in a couple lives. Now, if you get more specific and you say, man, I want to make a difference, I need to make an impact, I want to affect 25 people's lives. 25 people, you might get to that limit, you might fall a little bit short, and you've helped people, right? Just keep scaling that, and the higher you scale it, the more ridiculous it seems to reach. The point is, and this is in my perspective, other people may disagree, you may disagree, but my idea is that if I aim to impact 1 billion people's lives, then I'm going to end up helping a couple of 100 million people. So if I aim to just shoot and help 100 people's lives, I may fall short of that and only help 80 people's lives, okay? So the idea here is the idea of dominance, the idea of being the best, the idea of being above and beyond what anybody else is doing. It's not about anybody else. It's about you and what you're doing and how you're outdoing yourself over and over and over again. And in that way, you will get to dominance. But when I talk about dominance too, it's like, yes, I want to win. I want to be the best, because I also want to help other people win. Okay, so it's a circular kind of thing. The reciprocity of, as you rise, pulling more people up with you. So as you're rising, hopefully somebody's pulling you up, and somebody always is. Nobody does this by themselves. I think of that Snoop Dogg song he just came out with. I want to thank myself, I think is what it's called. And he's just basically thanking himself for all the things he's done. And it's tongue in cheek kind of thing. But I think at the same time, like, some people really honestly do feel that way. They feel like they've done it all by themselves. Or if they're defeated, everybody defeated them and it's everybody else's fault and not their fault, right? But when you start climbing and winning and achieving, it's easy for your mind, for your ego, it's easy for you to tell yourself, you're doing all of this. And people may have done this and done that and been a part of what you do, but no, it's all because of you. And I personally think that's a horrible way of looking at life. That's a horrible way of looking at business. That's a horrible way of looking at growth and success. It's just all around. That is terrible. So I want to be clear when I talk about setting out to achieve dominance. It's like, I want to dominate so that I can continue to help. I want to dominate in new ways. I look at it like, I'll bring up Tony Robbins because he's somebody to me who is a perpetual dominator and always takes things to the next level. He dominates with love, with compassion, with service, servitude, by giving value, by changing people's lives. And therefore, because he's changing so many lives, he's shooting so high, he's blowing everybody else out of the water. And that's the kind of domination that I'm talking about. So I'm going to leave you, as I run into the microphone, with that message. You're probably not going to win the way that you're thinking right now, unless you're a rare kind of person listening to this podcast, because I'm not even necessarily on the level. Why's my camera all out of focus? I'm not necessarily even on the level that I'm talking about, right? I'm not necessarily even on the level of where the domination is, but that's where I'm putting my mind daily. Through meditation, through practice, through affirmations, that sort of thing. I'm putting myself in my mind like I am the best at this. I'm the best at broadcasting. I'm the best at podcasting. I'm the best at radio. I'm the best at marketing, digital marketing, social media, the best public speaker, the best dad, the best husband, the best friend, the best person that I can possibly be, the best version of myself. My mentor, Ray Overdorf. You can listen to Ray. He's on many podcasts on this podcast. And he always talked about he just set out to be the best that he could be. That's all he tried, was the best that he could be. If you constantly compete against yourself and outdo yourself and dominate yourself and dominate past what you used to do, nobody can compete with you because you're in your own lane. The more you focus on personal domination of your own life and outgrowing yourself over and over again, you create a lane so specific and so niched for you that nobody can ever touch that. That is harnessing a superpower, creating a superhero. That is what that's all about. That's what this podcast is all about. Thank you so much for tuning in. My man, Jake Over, makes all the music on this podcast. Check out Jake Over. You can find him on Facebook. It's just Jake Over. Pretty easy to find. And shout out to the website, robzradio.com. robzradio.com. If you're in need of learning how to do a podcast, you're curious about digital marketing, you're curious about just broadcasting in general, you want to figure out how to get your feet wet, hit me up, robzradio.com, or on any social media platform. They're all in the show notes of this episode. I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.
This is Rob Z Radio.